Tell me about the origins of the port and the park.
Well, so it's been here since like 1989. It started as an economic development brain trust of the city of Butte, trying to create transportation or economic activity in the transportation industry, leveraging our I-15, I-90, and BN and UP railroads.
Right. So 2 railroads, that's right.
Yeah, 2 class 1s,
Right.
which is exciting.
Yep.
So did that happen about the time of the People's Administration? Or
Yes. Yep.
So that's before my time. So yeah, so the park was then created in 1992. Was the first year that they started working on the industrial park. And so, and then in the 80s, the tax increment, the urban renewal law was changed so that you could also include industrial development. And so that's why they created the TIFID, the Tax Increment Financed Industrial District. And so that has been around for the past 30 years, and that tax increment provision will sunset this year, so.
I was going to say, don't those things sunset, but it does.
It does. It's
Wow.
going to sunset after 30 years, yeah.
Well, what then? Will anything change, or?
So what the sunset of the provision means is that the incremental property taxes that we've been collecting for the past 30 years to reinvest into this district, those now all go back to the taxing jurisdictions. So we expect to, all the taxing jurisdictions, so that's the state, the counties, the cities, the school districts, things like that. But we should see an additional $3 million out of this district going back to the taxing jurisdictions.
I think it is a great success story for TIFIDs and what has happened and how they've been able to leverage and create, what was empty land out here, and it wouldn't have been done without the TIFID and the financing assistance that was available.
Correct. I think Kathy has nailed it. Without tax or increment financing, 100%, none of what happened out there would have happened.
You must charge fees for services and things.
We do. So we're fee-based. So we are, we kind of stand alone. We're autonomous. Our board is appointed by the chief executive. They're appointed for 4-year terms, but we operate as a business. So we need to make sure we're producing and doing our jobs so we can keep things moving. So we have fees for transloading, for moving cars, stuff like that. We have a variety of commodities. We unload everything from steel, shingles, fence posts, ethanol, asphalt, cars. Growing a lot. In the last year, actually even since the track completed, we expanded. We had the GM auto yard here. We're partners with Union Pacific on that, and we've added Toyota. So now we're distributing cars for both GM and Toyota out of here, and the Toyotas go pretty far, so that has been exciting. I think we're utilizing the tracks pretty well.
Okay. Well, probably you've had to put in that spur line, right, to get more access.
Well, so when I started the job, it was interesting. We knew the port was out here, and we knew it was a key component of the industrial park. Then through the years, Kathy and I worked together quite a bit and really figured out how important the port was to industrial development and how important it could be to attracting additional industrial development. And then, knowing that there was 2 Class 1 railroads out here, but ultimately, only the port could get served through the 2 Class 1 railroads, and they were landlocked. They had limited ability to grow. So through the years, we sort of looked at each other and went, we need to expand the rail service out here. We need more rail service out here. So partnered on it all the way through in hiring a railroad engineer to help us. We had envisioned some of the property that we thought could work for expanding rail access. I guess kudos to the Port of Montana because by including that rail access, the port had to embrace a very big change in their operations, and so it's while it was a partnership to put it in, it's absolutely the port's I guess victory lap in that they now have to take care of it and supply all the services
Right,
and things like
right.
that. So it's been a great partnership to figure out how to leverage that very, very unique asset, and I think we did a pretty good job of it, in the end.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's exciting. It's exciting to, if you think about, we had customers sitting there waiting for our rail project to be complete.
Mm-hmm.
They had already built their spur waiting for us, knowing that we were gonna get it to the finish line. Ergon had built a plant, had sat there, had, the rail plans. We coordinated with them, Buttes Over Bowen specifically, and they already had their track built. Their spur was there, a spur to nowhere. And then we, when we finally got our project complete in November, we were able to hook up to their rail spur. So it's been exciting. I think it's been a great public-private partnership that we have these companies coming in, and excited about being on rail.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that before we broke ground on rail, $40 million of investment had already been made based on the fact that we were going to bring rail to them one day.
Right, that's an act of faith,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, great one.
It seems like that has to be how it is though when you're building infrastructure. You have to hope they come, right?
It is. Infrastructure is it's a big deal, and it is so expensive that really it's really hard to place infrastructure development on a private developer, and it's pretty hard to place infrastructure development on a local government. You have to have, and I'm going to say it again, you have to have a mechanism like tax increment financing
Right.
that really allows you to sit at a table with a private developer and be able to say, we want you here and we can partner with you because the future property taxes you're going to pay is going to pay for that infrastructure that you're putting in,
Right.
or that we're putting in. And it's got to be a partnership, and ultimately the local government doesn't necessarily have a way to be at the table without tax increment financing.
Right. So when someone moves in here, one of your businesses, do they buy the land from you or from the
Correct.
county?
Yeah, so I mean, and I guess again, I'm the last one to take care of this particular district or tax increment district for now, but Rhodey Holman ahead of me, Kathy ahead of me, they had some good insight, and when REC Silicon located here, they also approached the local landowners in the area and actually purchased the property. And that has been a pretty good key to our success, is that the local government has controlled the property. And when you do site selection, or when you do site, go and recruit industry to come, one of the biggest things they want to know is, do you have complete control of the site that you are marketing to me? Because if you don't have some sort of agreement in place, or you don't own it, that private landowner can find out the name of who's coming, or all of a sudden think that their property is, worth quite a bit more than what the private developer really can pay for it. And
Right.
so in-site selection services, control of the land is a very big deal. And so we have had a lot of benefit. So yes.
I suppose they don't want an oil derrick suddenly appearing on their site.
Correct, yeah. So we do sell the property. We encourage, we ultimately do want, we want property owners out there, because that's how we're going to diversify our tax base, that's how we're going to grow our tax base, and that's how we're going to create jobs. So we do
Right.
sell our
So
property.
they don't just lease it then?
No,
Right.
no.
So you've got a pretty good crew already of businesses, or a group of businesses. Is there anything on the horizon? I know often you can't talk about that stuff. But
No, right now it's We have quite a bit. We have quite a bit of interest in our property, actually, to a place where, for the first time in 14 years, I'm sort of not sure where everybody that's interested can go.
Wow.
We did one subdivision last year, and we will be doing another subdivision this year, but ultimately most of the property that we have subdivided is spoken for. We have a couple larger parcels that would need, bigger investment, bigger developers, and right now we're talking to mainly smaller ones, and so we're gonna have to get a little creative if they all really do wanna locate in our park, so.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We have one very large modular housing development that is looking at coming. They manufacture modular housing.
right.
But they are a very, very large developer, and they're fine with us sharing their story, but they're looking to develop about 70 acres out there to the tune of $25+ million.
They can ship everywhere from here, right?
Exactly.
So, Kathy, what's a day in the life of the port like?
Every day is different, Jim. Keeps us all on our toes. I will say that. We're jack of all trades, master of none. I would say we do a little bit of everything. So we're kind of the distribution hub for all around for our customers. So, it's a pretty flurry of activity of trucks and rail cars coming through. We're served by Union Pacific 3 days a week and BNSF 3 days a week. So a lot of our focus is on receiving those rail cars, getting those placed, getting those unloaded, as well as then the trucks coming in to pick up the product or deliver the product to get on rail. And so it's a pretty basic formula, but it's busy.
Right.
And we have a little bit of everything. We have forklifts that range everywhere from that can pick 6,000 pounds up to 86,000 pound pick.
All right, because you're transferring from trucks to rail,
Yeah.
rail to trucks.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Do you have any good stories that you can tell me actually?
On success stories, I would say one of our great success stories, just showing how critical rail is and the ability to have dual service by 2 Class 1s in our
Right.
state. We began an asphalt project, I guess, about 5 years ago. Someone had come to us and was like, hey, we want to transload hot asphalt oil. And we're like, okay. And like, well, we're going to drive it over from Billings. And it has to get on the rail car, that day because the trucks are not heated. And it'll sludge up and stuff. So we embarked on this project, and it's been great. So what has happened was they were shipping, Union Pacific or BNSF, and then they had some UP destinations. So these customers figured out it's cheaper to truck it to the port, load it on the rail car, and ship it UP, and avoid another, Class 1 in the middle there, and get it. So we've been doing about 100 cars a month steadily for about 5 years.
Wow.
For that, which is great. And that's sort of what leads to one of our customers that are in the park, an asphalt customer, built the facility out there, and now they're transloading it themselves on rail car. We're just moving the rail cars to them. So it's kind of been the big win of what we always envisioned for the port. We're here to assist the little guys. We're also here for people to get their toe in the water to decide if we're the right place for them, and then they can roll into the park and build a facility.